Today we're going to be looking at the Britax Smile 3, which has become quite popular, at least here in Europe, as a result of seeming to offer, for a lower price, similarly sturdy, terrain-capable characteristics to a few rather successful strollers at the upper end of the market, such as the Baby Vista. While the truth unfortunately is that, though the model isn't all bad in my opinion, as with most second-tier strollers, there are reasons for the Smile's reduced price. And in this video then, we're going to focus in on some of the problems that we see with the model, in particular what we've seen in the workshop with earlier iterations, so that you can decide yourself whether it's a stroller you want to consider. And, jumping straight into mechanical matters then, my first larger criticism of the Smile over the years has been its tendency to loosen, and to develop creaking or squeaking problems, often after only a year or two of use. Three areas chiefly contribute to these problems in my experience. First being the handle, where the Smile makes use of a hinged height adjustment mechanism instead of going with a telescopic mechanism, which is the more common setup for models that are this large and heavy, as the sheer weight of the stroller, combined with common use over rougher terrain, has a tendency to weaken the handle mechanism, and in the worst cases, can even lead to breaking. Secondly, the model is cobbled together in the rear end with a wider number of separate components, held together with rivets and screws, than one finds on more streamlined competitors. And this, combined with the Smile's rather heavy rear wheels, accelerating wear on their connection to the chassis, also leads to a more rickety driving experience. And lastly, though the central folding mechanism has been improved with the Smile 3 from the large plastic locking components of the previous iteration, which tended to loosen rather quickly, it remains a weak point, which, in combination with the hinged handle, eventually only adds to a multi-point feeling of looseness along the handle arms. In addition to this loosening, there are also a couple of more serious problem areas with the Smile, first being the brake system, which makes use of a flip-flop friendly pedal located on one side of the rear frame, connected to a long wire that runs through the rear crossbar to reach the opposite wheel. Britax are not alone in employing this sort of brake system, and are not the only manufacturer to have experienced problems with it, but the way it's been done on the Smile is more problematic than with some comparable models, due to chiefly the higher positioning of the crossbar, which requires a longer wire to span the distance, as well as a preponderance of metal components that often rust and corrode after a year or two and cause problems with either activating or releasing one of the wheels. A second and more serious problem area, or at least a more stupid problem area, comes with the use of air-filled tires with very difficult to remove front wheels, which essentially means that if there's a front wheel puncture, most people will have a lot of trouble replacing the inner tube. This problem was worse on the Smile 2, where the front axle was fit within the fork using a cap and locking washer setup, but even on the Smile 3, despite having been replaced with a screw setup, the use of an epoxy to hold the two components of the axle together makes disassembly an incredibly tough process, especially when one considers the possibility that over time, the axle may well have rusted within the wheel as well. And last up today then, as far as problems I see with the Smile are concerned, is the price itself, where it's going to be important to look at the finer details of what is and is not included with purchase. Because you see, the Smile is sold in a variety of ways, from just with a seat, without even a rain cover, all the way up to as a travel system, with both the bassinet and car seat included. And when you do the math, the truth is that, when including say the bassinet and the rain cover, which often come stock with competing top-tier models, the price difference becomes a bit negligible. You may get a little advantage if you don't need a bassinet, or conversely you may get an advantage if you were already planning on going with a Britax car seat and you get a special package deal. But stroller for stroller, in my opinion, for most people the mechanical disadvantages that I've outlined make the Smile 3 an inferior choice for your money. In any case, we hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, we ask that you subscribe, as it helps us continue making videos in the future. In addition, if you are currently shopping for a stroller, we have a buyer's guide on our Patreon page which lists a wide range of models that we recommend, with a lot of technical and lifestyle related information. You can find it by following the link in the description. Thank you.